This video is for everyone who grew up without a father, right? For everyone who grew up without a mother, for everyone who went in foster care, right? For everyone who was abused, for everyone who was told they won't get what they want, for everyone who was told that they'll never matter, right? For everyone who was beaten, for everyone who was told that they don't matter, right? In different ways, different forms, right? But now you haven't figured out this is a freestyle about parenting, right? This is for those people who beat up their kids and killed them. I have one question for you before I get into the deep and to the gritty of the baking of this freestyle. Why? Why did you do what you do? Did you think it was a good idea? Right? Well, that's like that person in 2013, right? Killed his wife, killed his two kids, right? Hell, you know what he said? I did it because I loved him. No, you did it because you didn't want to be your wife anymore. But you didn't want to get divorced. You didn't want to see your kids anymore. So you decided pain was the best option. Right? Horror of death was the best option. Right? You are the real life creep show. You dead motherfucker. Right? You go to prison. They're gonna beat you up. They're gonna kill you. That's reality. Right? And look at the smiley face killer. Right? They call him a smiley face killer because he wrote notes with smiley faces, doing all his things, right? He killed women, right? You know why he killed women? Because his wife divorced him. But you know what's crazy about what I'm saying? You know what's crazy about the truth of what I'm saying? This is a freestyle, but everything I'm saying so far is true and real and grit and anger in the emotion, in the feeling, right? I feel sad for all his victims, but I don't feel sad for him. I don't feel great to watch his TV show. If I watched it, I wouldn't feel great to watch the movie. Even though it stars one of my favorite actors, I wouldn't care to watch it. I don't want to watch it. Okay? By now, you haven't figured out what I'm trying to say, but me explain it to you. Do not abuse. Do not murder. Do not be the worst person you can find. Right? Good girl. Thank you for eating your food, baby. Right? Speaking of dogs, do not beat up dogs. Do not have dogs in dog fights. Right? Do not be abusive to animals. Right? Do not fuck animals. Right? The point of what I'm trying to say is obvious. I know I sound a little off. Right? I think it's because I talk a lot in these videos. But that's not the point. Right? Once you hit rock bottom, right? You hit the Booker's Inn, right? You hit the life of the Undertaker, right? What I'm trying to say, right? Don't shoot yourself, do suicide, just because it feels like it's the last and final option. Don't take a whole bunch of pills just because it feels like it's the last and final option. By now you haven't figured out what I'm trying to say, right? Let me explain this for you. Right? What we know is abuse now in the 1800s, in 1900s, hell, was considered normal. It was considered normal to hit your kids in public. And by hit your kids, I mean straight up strangle them in public, right? It was considered normal to be abusive in public, right? Now I know some people are going to look at this freestyle and go, why is he saying all this? Why is he trying to spin doctor what is normal? I'm not spin doctoring what is normal. I'm saying the truth of what isn't normal, right? I was around somebody that was abusive for years. Who was more than abusive, not just to me, but to someone else. This is not about that. And I'm not going to get into that right now. No. This isn't about me, right? This is about the proof of abusive. This is about the proof of what could be abusive, right? More than half of the kids in foster care, right, are of parents, of moms who got raped. Tell me that ain't crazy, right? All because, You know, and I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying it's good. If anything, I'm saying the opposite. Right? They got abused. They didn't want to keep the kid. Rather be rape, or they got abused and they want to stay with their boyfriend. Or they want to leave, but they can't take care of the kid by themselves. There's so many different reasons. You understand what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? Now, usually when I do freestyles, I do happy freestyles, but I wanted to do this one for a while. But for those people that burn down houses, right, all because you think a woman has sexual attraction to you, someone to burn your house down, tie you to a bed with you inside. Like I said, I don't care how graphic this gets, but I'm making sure one thing is one thing. I'm making sure you realize the truth lies in the eyes. Right? I'm making sure that the brain is not fucked up, because I am not a Frankenstein. Right? I'm not the doctor here. I'm not the doctor of Frankenstein. I'm not Mr. Thugonomics, right? I am not the man who holds the power of gods like Zeus. No, but speaking of Zeus, it's funny I bring up Zeus, one of the most recognizable gods. Zeus, who raped a woman, right? Right? And had her vanished. Had her by her death, she would have snake hair and turned into stone. That's the reason survivors get Medusa tattooed on them. Right? Right? People ask me, what is cool about Medusa? Medusa is one of the coolest fictional characters, right? Because if you think about it, her story is interesting. It's fucked up. It's crazy. Right? She is probably the first ever victim of rape. All because she told him no, and she told on him to an utter god. She got turned into stone. Stone of lies will be the cradle that you walk in. Do not be abusive. Do not be abusive. Right? I got one more thing to say. One more thing to say. And that is, I'm not exactly for abortion. But if you get raped, at that moment, I'm not against it. Right? I'm just being honest. Right? If there's nothing else you can do, maybe you should get rid of the kid. Because that kid should not live with the fact of knowing that the mom had no choice.